So, man, why are you late today? You usually have a good excuse.
Very good excuse, Mel, considering we are one of the few states left in Australia which isn't in a state of lockdown, thankfully. And it was Isha's term break. We went on a little road trip, Ollie's first ever road trip, and we made it. Somehow, some way, we are back, all of us in one piece. The car is in one piece, and let's do this. Let's have our show.
It doesn't say much about the driving if you're just happy the car's in one piece, but I'm not going to say anything more.
Hey,
No, not Isha, not Isha. I'm talking about your driving. All I'm going to say is let's just get on with the show. Hello and welcome to the good, the bad, and the ridiculous. Have you missed us? Because we've missed you and I've missed you, Brunt. I'm glad you had a good break. What a huge week it's been in cricket. We thought we really need to start doing this once a week at least. So keep your eye out for nominations as you go. Please do hit the like button and do subscribe to us and come and join us for lots of fun. We've got people online already. Alan James wanting you to accept his LinkedIn request. I'm not sure that, is that appropriate? I'm using this show for your LinkedIn purposes. I don't know. Hello to Harleen Deol. I'm worried I got that wrong. And we'll go through some more of your comments as we go along during the show. So please feel free to drop them into the chat bar. But yeah, what a week. Let's get into some nominations. Our first one up is from Deepti Raunayak, I think. Saying nominating Shafali Verma versus Catherine Brunt. That's it. Nothing can beat it. It certainly has become, I reckon actually the most exciting batter v bowler contest in women's cricket at the moment. It certainly has been one for that series. We've seen both of them come out on top in this last match. It was Catherine Brunt who did getting out Shafali for a duck, but then in other games she's come out on top. It's turned into a really classic battle, I think, in what's been an interesting series. And, England too strong in the end in those one-day formats. But there was a lot of excitement around it, and I think there are a lot of things that India are going to be able to take out of this series as well. Remember, they went for a long period without playing, so that's obviously going to have some effect on them coming back. But they'll be good for that run before they come to Australia.
I think there are so many positives that India will take from not just the white ball stuff, but the whole series. We think back to how they saved that test match when nobody gave them a chance going into day 4, going into the final day. And yeah, Shafali Verma, we've spoken so much about her. It's when she's on the screen, it's just excitement. I remember Mark Nicholas, the great Mark Nicholas, his comment when Sachin Tendulkar walked out to bat in the 1997 India tour of West Indies, a long time ago. And all he said, like Mark Nicholas likes to say, is, here comes Tendulkar, here comes entertainment. And that's what Shafali Verma's entrance brings. It just makes you stop doing whatever you're doing, and she makes you watch her. Yeah. And Catherine Brunt's the same, right? Like, during that test match, I remember both of us talking about it. When she went after Catherine Brunt had a smile on her face. But as the tour wore on, as the series wore on, it became serious business. Thankfully, people stopped talking about the fact that Catherine Brunt made her debut when Shafali wasn't born, or that she's double her age. It became a cricketing battle, and for good reason. Like you said, Shafali hit her for a lot of boundaries in one game, and next game, Catherine Brunt comes and gets her out. And it just tells you, I know there will be some people who look at it and go, oh, look at Catherine Brunt being... I know there will be people in India, because that's how sport is viewed by quite a lot of Indians. That's how sports movies get made, based on heroes and villains. So I'm sure there will be some talk of Catherine Brunt, a senior player. Look at how she's reacting to getting a child out, or a very junior cricketer out. But that just tells you how passionate Catherine Brunt is, and how much it means to her to play for England and to win a one-on-one challenge, and also about how much she respects Shafali Verma. So it's, I don't know how much we're going to see of Brunt versus Verma, considering where Catherine Brunt is at this stage of her career. But I'm glad it happened, and let's There'll be lots of highlight reels of that battle for years to come.
Yeah, it has been fantastic. A really good series overall as well. Okay, our next nomination, please. We've got a few of them today. Lots of comments coming in as well. From Crick, our good friends, Crick Beyond and good historic victory for the Irish. They hardly get to show what they are capable of, but due to the ODI Super League, they have already shown what they are capable of, first against England and now against South Africa. Cricket is stronger by their growth. Absolutely, because they were derailed by that loss a little bit against the Netherlands as well, who it's also good to see be competitive. But yeah, that is just fantastic. The captain leading from the front as well with that century to Andy Balbirnie. What an incredible achievement. Malahide, which was one of my favourite places in the entire world to watch cricket. I know they would have been down at Gibney's pub afterwards having a few pints. It was great, and it just shows the value of having that league as well, because it's I think 10 points for Ireland now. They're fifth, I think, on the table. I'm sure that will obviously swap around a fair bit, but they invested so much into Test cricket and getting Test cricket status, and then once they got there, it sort of felt like they had dropped off in some of their white ball cricket. They lost some really experienced, talented players kind of all in once as well of that generation. But to see them come back now, obviously South Africa will have a lot of questions about doing things like resting Quinton de Kock and the way their bowlers elite so many runs. But let's just celebrate Ireland massively for that, because it is so good for the health of the game worldwide, in my opinion. And I'm still very, very much hoping that they will get to Australia next year to play a test match, because that'd be really, really cool.
That would be fun. And no team. Whoa. I know you're excited, Mel, but
I was so excited. That was literally a mic drop. That was a mic drop.
I don't think I can better that. You've gone for the literal mic drop, Mel. Yeah, I know. I'll try to keep up somehow. But yeah, look, I think Ireland unfortunately seem to have fallen off, and Afghanistan seems to have taken over from them, even though they both got test status at the same time. As we know, and Ireland did so well against Pakistan in their opening test match. But you're right, the focus seemed to have shifted. Warren Dutram has been on record speaking about how much they want to play more test cricket. And no team knows to celebrate better than the Irish, right? I mean, the Irish celebrate every morning, every night the same way. They're such a fun lot. So world cricket needs a happy, winning Irish team because they bring so much energy to the sport. And also, I think they are kind of playing catch up with Afghanistan across all formats now. Unfortunately, the scheduling doesn't help them. Look, that ODI league right now, they are in automatic qualification areas, which is too early. As of now, India is outside that, but India doesn't need to qualify for the tournament since they're hosting the tournament. Imagine that, a World Cup in India without India. Just thinking. It's not going to happen. I'm just thinking about it. It's great. And that's what cricket needs, right? You need the Irelands of the world. I remember 20 years ago now, when Kenya were making a proper splash, making the World Cup semifinals, we thought, look, finally we have a new team on the board. But yeah, they have fallen off. And Ireland, though, this is a big moment for them, beating South Africa for the first time on home soil. What they have struggled with is a series of wins, which Afghanistan have done. So it's important that they, continue this and have put a few wins on the board, and then we can start taking them really seriously.
Yeah, I'm desperate to see them back in World Cup. Territory, lots of people coming online. Hello to everyone. Hi,
Mel,
yes.
I think you knocked your mic off. Your vocals are.
Oh, my what?
Your vocals. Yeah. And this is a live show, guys, at the end of the day. It's good to have these faux pas. And now we can't hear Mel at all. Wonderful. I think I have to take over this show. So
Am I back?
Hey, you're back. You're back now. Just when I thought I can do this all by myself.
Hello to everybody coming online and saying hello to us as well. Diraj saying, after a long wait, welcome back, both of you. Thank you very, very much. Yes, we're quite happy about that. And another one there from Vicky Puswani on the whole Verma thing. Verma is the reason we'll feel confident of chasing down big targets. Yes, there is a certain amount of swagger that she has. A few people saying ridiculous or bad. Rishabh Pant and Jasprit Bumrah testing COVID positive. What can you tell us about that, Bharat?
I am actually hearing it for the first time because I was driving for the last 5 hours. So thank you for the information. I just read those comments as well. So, unlike what most people think, I'm not on Twitter all the time. So I wasn't sure of that. I was just spending quality family time. So you tell me, Mel.
Well, I'd only read that there were players, so I hadn't seen them named. So we'll have to go and do some checking on that. But certainly it has been reported in the Indian media that at least one player had tested positive. Look at what's happening in England at the moment with the county game. Like, it's just a real reminder that if you sort of feel like by now, people are getting vaccinated, turning the corner, all that sort of thing. But we're still deep inside this pandemic, and it's going to keep affecting cricket, I think, very, very much so. So many tournaments still being affected by it, so many series. Even that, T20 World Cup in the UAE, let's just keep our fingers crossed for that one, because with this Delta variant, you just don't know where it's going to go. So that's certainly a bad thing that's happening this week, and let's hope that they're able to get it under control for that series very quickly. Next nomination up, please, Muku, from Gaurav Nandanta 1. Bad. The T20 standards in Australia, despite having a world-class tournament like the BBL, even after Warner and Maxi come in, they're still not be strong contenders for the World Cup. Time for Langer and team to reassess their game and composition. Australia did win. They did win today. That's, it was an improved performance. Look, it's been a difficult series for them. They were hoping that all the fringe players, were going to be putting their hands up and really making a statement. The one player who's really done that has been Mitch Marsh. I think has been absolutely outstanding. He missed out once, but not just with his batting, which has been fantastic, but with his bowling. I thought it was really good today. All those, wide defensive Yorkers, they worked out the crosswind at St. Lucia, which they hadn't done before. But yeah, apart from him, we've seen Stark come sort of grow into it, maybe getting that rhythm he spoke about. But the Australian middle order, but I mean, they were, all the talk was about them needing to find a finisher, Bharat. But I've been maintaining, I still don't know what the team is. Like, forget that being the last piece of the puzzle. It feels like the whole puzzle is still not forming a coherent picture yet. So they're now down to what, six T20 matches before the start of the T20 World Cup. Yes, one more in the West Indies, 5 in Bangladesh, if that all goes ahead. I don't know what the best team is. I got no idea. I don't know if you have any idea, but I'm not even sure. I'm quite sure that the Australian team management isn't sure either.
Firstly, I have a question for you. I mean, Gaurav's calling BBL a world-class tournament. Is it really a world-class tournament? I'm not sure. Because unfortunately, as we've seen in the last few years, not a lot of world-class players actually come and play the whole league. It used to happen back in the day, but now even like the Bangladesh Premier League takes more precedence in terms of players, world-class players outside Australia wanting to go there. And it shows with the likes of Riley Meredith. Yes, very young, but he's done so well in the BBL, got a big prize in the IPL. But you see him in this series, and you kind of tells you that there is a big bridge to cross from being successful in the BBL and being successful in T20Is, but also in the leagues which has a lot of world-class players. So I think it's been a reality check for Australia with where their T20 cricket is right now. And I completely agree with you, Mel. talk of bringing back Christian, the romance around Dan Christian, and like, yes, we found it, old men, like all that is fine. But on the field, from what we've seen so far, and it's not just Dan Christian, a lot of guys just don't seem to fit in, not into this Australian team, but into the standard of T20 cricket that gets played around the world. And West Indies, Mitch Marsh said it during one of his press conferences, the margin of error against those guys is very limited. And it's not just about power. West Indies play the smartest T20 cricket around the world because they have so much experience, yes, but they also have a lot of good systems in place for that format. Australia historically has always struggled. I remember asking Justin Langer that question in the pre-series thing, and he spoke about how T20 cricket is not easy to win and all that. But I think teams have gone beyond just the unpredictability of T20 cricket, and there's so many matchups and players performing specific roles. Right now, you're just, as the Australian selectors seem to be picking on the Australian, people in power seem to be picking people who they think will do well in the T20 format rather than actually identifying individuals who will go and succeed. I mean, James Faulkner, someone like that, is what Australia missed right now, when he was at his peak, that is. So I think they've really fallen behind in this format, and it's no surprise that they've struggled in T20 World Cups historically, and why they might actually struggle in 4 months' time if that UAE thing does happen.
I couldn't agree more. I've been talking about a lot. I sort of feel like it's old-fashioned T20 cricket that they've been playing. The whole thing that you can do with just pick your best cricketers in the team and they'll do well. But and the likes of Stoinis, Carey, they've been pretty disappointing and not taken Stoinis, Henriques actually, Henriques and Carey, and so Turner even, they've not really taken their opportunity, which has been really disappointing. Actually, before we do that, I'm just going to say Diraj Rugta has said, have we seen the last of Dan Christian and Moses? No, I don't think we've seen the last of them. I think Moses is becoming a better test cricketer and a better batter in the latter stages of his career. It's just changing. I'm still holding out hope for Dan Christian. Don't hate me. I'm a romantic. I'm still hoping that that's going to come off. Just let me have my moment. Okay, that was my
all yours.
Okay, next nomination, please. From Dawal J, I think. Dawal J. Ridiculous. The changes done to cricket. Is it still called cricket in the 100 League while we already have 3 healthy formats complementing each other well? The audacity to proudly market these changes as revolutionary, my God. And we do have another one on this as well. There are a few around. Nomadic 23. The playing conditions / rules of the 100 wins the Ridiculous of the Year award.
Wow.
That's pretty intense. I think my favorite, though, of all of it, and the change in the rules probably don't matter as much to me as they do to others. I just think they should have invested more in making the Blast a better competition and market it better. But the idea that they're getting rid of overs and they're not calling them overs, and yet they've still got in there the penalties for slow over rates. That's going to be so hard to commentate on. I feel for the commentators.
I have to confess, I'm not a cricket nerd. I don't watch as much cricket as you do or a lot of other people do. But I actually saw a dream last night, 2 nights back. I don't know, it was this bizarre dream. I had gone to sleep just reading about these 100 rules. And for some reason, it was Jason Gillespie in my dream. And Jason Gillespie and I are not very close, to be honest. But he was in my dreams and he was explaining why the 100 is going to bring out is going to transform coaching in cricket. And he was telling me about, and this is Jason speaking to me in my dream, of course, and he was guiding me through it. He was talking about how all these rules actually make sense. And, you'll see coaches, how he's going to coach in this format. I don't even know whether he's a coach in the 100, but he was in my dream. And talking about how, they can walk out and he's going to control each game. The players just have to go there and follow whatever he's saying. He's going to stand there and shout out stuff to them. And I woke up and I was like, wow, I can't wait to watch the 100. And then I realized it was all a dream. But I'm already excited about the 100. Unlike a lot of other people, I'm all for experimentation. And people said who needed T20 cricket? I mean, go ask the likes of Pat Cummins if T20 cricket works or not. So things are always advancing, and cricket is always slightly reticent to change. But when change does come, it does embrace it better than most other sports. So who knows? Maybe it'll work, maybe it'll not. But at least there's something new to talk about, not just for us, but for everyone.
I think that what concerns me more than any of the rules things, and we've seen them tweak the rules in the Big Bash last year with the X Factor player and all that sort of stuff. But I think the really scary thing is we're already seeing now with the combination of COVID ripping into county teams, and they've already lost players, a lot of their best players, to the 100. And there now seem to be concerns about the one-day competition, which was cancelled last year, the county one, and can it go together? Then that's the problem. It's not so much that being anti the 100. Can you actually support 4 different formats, 4 competitions like that in one season? It's looking very doubtful that you can do that during a COVID-affected season anyway. So I can completely empathise with English fans and Welsh fans and everyone over there who is so worried about what this is going to do to county cricket, because at the moment it's sucking a lot of money, resources, players out of county cricket, and that has been the cradle of England cricket for a long time, to play a format that no one else in the world is playing. So it's a big concern, and I can absolutely understand why they got it.
Yeah, I mean, wait till Jason appears in your dream and explains. Like there was no hair talk between us. I was so into his explanation of the 100. Anyway, we'll talk about it.
I'm not going anywhere near dreams about Dizzy, that's for sure. He's a nice man. It's a very nice man. Okay, next nomination, please. Oh, yeah, from Kunal, back to the West Indies. Chris Gayle getting to 14,000 T20 runs is surely ridiculous. And what is so ridiculous about it, one of the things is that, well, there's a few things. One is he's so far ahead of Kieran Pollard. He's like 3,500 runs in front of Kieran Pollard, which is in itself ridiculous. And in a format where they don't face that many balls. That's also what is really ridiculous about him getting there. So who knows? Maybe someone will eventually catch him. I mean, he's got to be reaching the end of his career. You would think it's got to come in the next couple of years anyway. So goodness knows. It's going to take a hell of a lot to catch him, though, I think, from someone. And he's absolutely defined T20 batting. Absolutely, in the last sort of 10 years or so, that if you think of what the best of T20 batting, you can't really go past Chris Gayle.
Well, I remember interviewing Sunil Gavaskar when Chris Gayle went past 10,000 runs, not too long back, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, because Sunil Gavaskar was the first cricketer to get 10,000 runs in any format. And Saniba actually had said that I think it's a greater achievement, and for many reasons that you just mentioned, Mel. It's T20 cricket. To be consistent for that long and to score so many runs, this tells you that he is a supernatural batsman when it comes to this format. Of course, we're talking about Chris Gayle. Oh, look at that. He scored the first ever T20I century back in 2007. And yes, he's played over 100 test matches. He has a great one-day record as well. I always look for little things with Chris Gayle. When he did his post-match presentation interview the other day, and when he starts talking about him being the universe boss and he starts talking about himself in third person very early on, that means Chris Gayle is just floating. He's just being himself. He's just being crampy, what they call him, or used to call him in Jamaica before he called himself the universe boss. But he left it till the end, which tells me that he's very, very serious about this T20 World Cup. The West Indies feel, there are a lot of critics who feel that, maybe that man of the match performance he produced 2 days back is not such a good thing for West Indies, which means that they'll have to keep him, and he doesn't play often as he used to in the past. But that's the thing in a tournament format with Chris Gayle. He just needs to play that one innings, and you hope that it comes in a semi-final or a big game. Generally, with Chris Gayle, it does.
Yeah, it does. And he had his foot movement back. That was the thing that I really noticed in that innings, that where he just was back to himself of old. He was shuffling around the crease. He had the shuffle back, and that in the first, you saw the first 2 matches, his feet, he was just absolutely rooted to the crease, and that for me was different. And then mentioned that pep talk by Kyron Pollard, so obviously it was a good one.
Hey, by the way, Mel, Pawan Kumar has leaked a little secret. The fact
Mel
that
looks like sibling of Bharat, same hairstyles. Can I just say, this is what happens when I don't blow dry my hair. It's wavy.
And this is what happens when I drive with the window down because of the dog.
So basically, when we have bad hair days together, we look like siblings. Yeah, to be fair, I can see the resemblance. I have
of course we can.
Slightly less facial hair, but then I did shave today. So next comment, next nomination. What are they? Nomination, please. We've got a few more to crack through. Yes, JJ Gass. Harleen Deol has to be a front runner for both Good and Ridiculous in the 2021 year in review version, and Ridiculous from Crit Cal Chic, Harleen Catch, and Tim Lowell. Harleen Deol. Mic drop, except I won't do it literally this time. We had lots of nominations for her. That was a great catch, and we've actually got a little surprise for you, Bharat. Muku has got his colleague Rahul in. We have a little animation here. Check this out. Except it's frozen. Oh, there it is. There it is again. Play it, Muku.
All right.
Oh, look at that. Great work, Rahul. I love it. Well, we can't show the actual footage, can we?
Yeah, of course. So this is amazing. Yeah.
I know. It was amazing. Do you know what there's the thing I love about this the most? Well, not the most. There's lots of terrific catch on its own. But did you notice that Sports Center, ESPN Sports Center tweeted it out there? Millions and millions of followers in the US, and the reaction to that, there are a lot of people just going, "Oh wow, that's amazing," and there were some people going, "I don't know anything about cricket. I don't understand it, but that looks cool." And there were people going, "Yeah, cricket. I just don't understand it." And people were posting explanations about cricket and links to simple rule explanations. That is just amazing to me, that you can see an Indian woman playing in a series going viral essentially for a great catch that then gets people talking about cricket. Who might not normally be introduced to it. So for me, I just thought that was absolutely wonderful.
I mean, what 60, 70 years of Indian expats moving from going to the USA couldn't do Harleen Deol did in 1 second with that catch. There have been so many Indian expats going there trying to sell the concept of cricket. The ICC's invested a lot of money as well in America, and in the past, I remember back in India, I watched Sports Center where they would talk about cricket and they would mention points and not runs, and they would say this team beat that team by 32 points, and that's how backward they were in terms of their knowledge of cricket. And Harleen Deol in 1 second, gets everyone talking. I saw some of those comments as well. The comments that really stood out for me were like, I don't know what this is, but this looks very cool. Like you said, I want to watch more of it. So there you go. It doesn't always need to be a superstar who puts their respective sport on the map. It can be someone who becomes a superstar by doing that. So it was such a great moment, not just, it doesn't matter whether it was women's cricket or not, for our great sport.
Yeah, it really was. I see a comment there from Rahul Deoda saying Harleen Deol may have raised fielding expectation for both women and men's cricket. Well, we certainly don't see them all the time, but it is great. It has been absolutely fantastic to see. Oh, there's another one. Yes, there it is. The comment coming up. Do we have any more nominations, Miku, or is that it? I've lost track. Yes, here. How could we forget this? Concussion sub. Good. England's new faces stepping up against Pakistan. Bad. Pakistan's poor performance against the second string England side. Pardon me. I've got it. Mum, can you please get me a glass of water?
Dear.
Down my throat, sorry.
Need the cough button.
It's not COVID. That's okay. My mum's bringing me some water. Thank you, Mum. Oh, yeah.
Well, I'll take over the show. I mean, threatened to earlier.
She's got me warm water.
Stop complaining.
Anyway, second string England side, isn't it a third string England side? I mean, that was amazing. That was, when you like to talk about movies and you know, villains, heroes, good, whatever. And I'm certainly not saying Pakistan are the villains, but that is like a Bad News Bears kind of, you know, it's a movie, sports movie waiting to happen. The whole first team wiped out, and so all these blokes, you know, drafted into the side, and then they end up being victorious anyway. That was amazing. And I think too, it has to be said, you know, we're talking about Australia and not knowing what their best side and everything. So I think that says a lot for how England approach white ball cricket too, in that they know exactly what they want and need, and they have done so much work with the likes of Nathan Lehman in just knowing what the makeup of the side is that they want. And it's just been absolutely fantastic to watch them do that. And some players who really have put their hands up, and I see them really pushing for spots now in an area where it's really hard to get into that England one-day side.
It tells you about the culture of white ball cricket that England have generated. You know, it's not just the creme de la creme, the top players who play a form of cricket, a form of white ball cricket that now has made them world champions. Barely, but you know, it's actually a question of how that culture runs right through. You know, and when they announced the squad, Mel, I'll be honest, I had to look up a few names, Bryden Cars and a lot of other names I had not heard of. So I had to go and check David Payne, another one. Like, who are these guys, right? Like, you know, John Simpson, that name's like done the rounds here and there. And I think England did the right thing by not picking a side that Twitter was recommending. You know, as much as I would have loved to see Darren Stevens make his debut at 45. I don't think that's how elite sport works. So I'm glad they left the romance out of it and they picked guys that they had identified clearly. And you're right, it was a third string side. And they just went out there. Yes, they had nothing to lose, but they just followed the diktat that, you know, the Trevor Bayliss, Owen Morgan era has brought into English cricket. Just go out there and express yourself, as they say in cricket. And they did that. And, you know, you had to feel bad for Pakistan. Yes. You know, it's you think of like Pakistan and the criticism they get from their own people on social media and just their commentators and experts going after them. It cannot be an easy team to play for, especially when you're not doing well. But Babar Azam's innings, unfortunately, should have won them that game and, you know, given some credibility back to that Pakistan team. But yeah, I think that first game where they were just rolled over by Saqib Mahmood, who I think, you know, has made a great stake for himself to maybe make the Ashes squad alongside Matt Parkinson. So while England have have new names to talk about, Pakistan unfortunately continue to remain inconsistent, and I guess that's how it's going to be for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. And just some comments coming in on that is from Vicky Bhatnagar. Is Bubba the new Kohli? No, Bubba is he's the
original Bubba.
Yeah. He's the original Bubba, yes. And one from Shazwat Kanodia, David Milan missing the opportunities he's getting in ODIs. He's a Conway-esque player with similar potential. His name will be coming around a lot, I think, more again. Nice to see him score a century too. But the time has come. Bharat, what is your goodest thing of the week?
I have to go with my West Indian team and how well, after that loss against South Africa, I said, I think in one of our shows, I said they're better at playing the tournament format than the bilateral format, but just the way they found new heroes every time. And let's not forget that they're also a team in transformation. They're also trying to fit in roles. That's why we've seen different guys bat at number 4. But, Nicholas Pooran, young new captain. But so many guys have put their hand up pretty much every time. And yes, they did lose today, but, that's been, for me, the best thing about cricket. I'm being slightly biased, yes. But, it means that they're building up nicely towards that T20 World Cup, and you want West Indies firing on all cylinders when a T20 World Cup comes around. So that for me was the best part of the week.
Absolutely, and having a leggy like Hayden Walsh Jr. play the way he's been playing and taking wickets, and as well as keeping the run rate down the middle over, that's a bit of gold.
And I have to say, one of the best parts for me about Hayden Walsh is not just that he takes a lot of wickets, that he has a very conventional wicket celebration. Unfortunately, what happens is because a couple of West Indian players have, Fabian Allen and those guys, it's on us, not on them. People just start talking about that and not their cricket, really. So I'm so glad that Hayden Walsh doesn't have that, and we'll talk a lot about how good a bowler he is.
Yeah, absolutely. So then, I got right into it, and I forgot that we have the stings. So let's just, even though we've done the goodest, I'm going to allow Muku to play the sting. Just so we can see it. Go, Muku. He's just gone straight for the bad. You missed your fairy wing. Sorry, dude. We'll get them back for you next time. What was the baddest thing for the day?
For the week, yeah. I guess it's tough to look past Australia and just the fact that not only that, like you said, a lot of these the irregulars in the T20 team haven't put their hand up. Such a great opportunity for them, but just it almost feels like they're 2 steps back. Not just in comparison to the West Indies, but South Africa went there with a youngish team and they beat West Indies. And they matched West Indies with bat and ball and in the field as well. So the only thing going for Australia is, they're so used to playing T20 cricket on the bigger grounds in Australia that maybe, the UAE and the conditions in Australia next year for that T20 World Cup might come in handy. But as of now, it looks pretty bleak. And well, if Rishabh Pant and Jasprit Bumrah have tested positive, I guess that's right.
Apparently someone has commented to say it's only Rishabh Pant.
Oh, that's a relief. It's just one.
But we'll see. We have to go and check out all these things happening because that's just happening now. Okay, so Bharat, and I'm going to wait for this time. It is time for the ridiculousest thing of the week. Ooh, how I've missed that. In a week where there was some ridiculously good stuff, some ridiculously bad stuff, and some plain ridiculous stuff, what wins it for you?
I mean, when you can get people around the world talking about your sport with just one moment of brilliance, I think nothing beats that. And Harleen Deol really deserves, and you just everyone. It was everyone from former Indian male cricketers to female cricketers to cricketers around the world, like you said, people in America. And yeah, I mean, if Donald Trump was still US president, he would have tweeted about it. That's how big a moment that was that Harleen Deol pulled off. And yeah, I mean, like one of our viewers said, it's absolutely right. It has set a new benchmark for fielding, not just for women's cricket, but cricket overall.
There it is again. Thank you, Rahul, for putting that one together as well. Yeah, it was a fantastic moment in a week where there was just a lot of great cricket stuff to enjoy. I've really enjoyed this last week. Lots, and I'm sure this next week is going to be big as well. So please do subscribe. Thanks everyone for coming on and leaving comments and for nominating. We really appreciate all of it. We've missed you as well, and we're going to be back next week. So please keep the nominations coming. Use the hashtag. Don't forget it so it's easy to find. And until next week, we'll see you then. Bye.